What's up, guys? Welcome back to Detroit Tigers Rebuild. We've got the off-season ready to go. Check out the World Series matchup. So, nobody got Angels-Dodgers, but the Dodgers ended up winning the whole thing. So I figured, you know what? You guys, Mike, Saiyan Ninja, Dedes, you guys guessed the Dodgers would at least make it to the World Series. I know that the contest or whatever the thing was that we wanted the 100% matchup, but 50% is pretty good. And then we'll give you the extra bonus because they ended up winning the whole thing. So Dodgers take it. They ended up winning the series 4-2 against the Angels. So nice little subway series, so to speak, interstate World Series. All right, so before we get into the players that are available for free agency, I want to go over the guys that we're bringing back, and then that way you guys know, as the viewers, as the subs, as the Gold Glover Army, you guys know what we're doing to try to make this team better, to finish off the rebuild and try to win a World Series next year, maybe even 2019. So let's get into it. First and foremost, we're going to need another starting pitcher. And if that's a guy that's higher overall than Michael Fulmer, maybe we basically push everyone else down one spot. That's an option. Could also get a guy that's in between Norris or Ross, is like an 80 overall, 85 overall. We just need another solid arm into that pitching staff. We brought back a lot of the minor league pitchers just because I like their potential. I like the age. I like what they can give. So these guys are pretty solid. But for sure we need another starting pitcher. Relievers, you guys will notice that the salary is left with the dash, is left blank. That is simply because a lot of these guys in the mid-70s right here, I don't like making offers on guys in the 70 overalls during the free agents period, simply because they always ask for more money than they deserve. So we offered a lot of these guys arbitration. Hopefully that the arbiter and the judge sides on our side, because wherever we think that they're worth, that's kind of the low ball number. But we want to bring Jared Cozart back. We want to bring Shane Green back. Hardy is gonna leave us. We want to bring Alex Wilson back, Segrist, and I'm not real sure about Matt Bush yet. I'm kind of on the fence about Matt Bush. We ended up moving Bruce Rondon over to the closing role because K-Rod's now gone. I love pitching with Bruce Rondon. I think he's a great closer to play with. Simulation, not so sure how he pans out, but we'll figure that out later. Catcher, we're pretty solid here. We got a good backup to James McCann through Harper Ham, who we ended up trading Doug Fister for in the Texas Rangers deal in the last video. James McCann was actually asking for $5 million a year. He would have been the highest paid Tiger on the team. So he's being offered arbitration, so he'll come back. That'll be fine. First base, we need a backup for Luis Valbuena. Valbuena actually had a pretty solid year, 265, 53 RBIs, 14 home runs, so pretty good. But we need a backup option to him. I don't think these guys here are really going to cut it. Second base. Now this is where things start to get interesting. We got second, third, and short that we need to really figure out and lock down for the next few years to come. Rutledge didn't have a terrible season for us. He had 245, 14 bombs, 37 RBIs. That might have been the number 2 spot that we hit him in. Maybe if we were hitting him number 7, he would have had a little bit more RBI opportunities. But nonetheless, the fielding was the issue. I want to see what the season ended out with. How many errors did he have? So he ended up with 7 errors. I think he had 7 errors the last time that we did the video. Okay, so we finished the year with 7 errors, right? That's okay. It's not terrible. It's not bad. So he did us a solid job overall. But we want to get better. and he's 28 years old. He could be the guy that we just have a stopgap for. We could bring him back for one more season to get Felipe Gutierrez ready for the big leagues. The contact and the hitting for Felipe is really good, but the fielding, the defensive side is terrible. So we need to have him sit down there in AAA and get that figured out. But this is the guy we drafted, and this is the guy that we're high on. So top 50 prospect, we love him. We love him. Let's move on to third base. Hanser Alberto was a Texas Ranger, was also a part of the Doug Fister trade. So that was down there for depth. Robbie Esposito was another one of our draft picks, and it was a steal, 75 overall. I think we got him like the 4th, 5th round. Look at the stealing. The stealing's great. The speed's good. Fielding's pretty solid. And the hitting for 20 years old, awesome. Those are great. Those are great numbers to be 20 years old. He could play third base for us. And even though the fielding is not so good, we could stick him in at third, or we could probably even stick him at first base behind Valbuena. We could have him do the platoon thing like we tried with Billy Butler last year. He hits right-handed. Valbuena bats left-handed. We could move Bregman over to shortstop, but then we need to sign a third baseman. We got to get third baseman locked down. It all revolves, this offseason, pretty much all revolves around what we're going to do with Bregman. We could keep Bregman at third, but we're going to need a shortstop. We could move Bregman to short, but we're going to need a third baseman. So really, you guys are my advisors for a reason. I want you guys to kind of get the idea of where the decisions need to be made and what your input is. And we'll know who's being offered up in the free agencies soon. That way we can kind of look at it. But that's kind of where we're at. Gavin Cecchini can definitely play shortstop in the majors. It's just more of the offensive output that he's going to give us. Probably a number 9 hitter, number 8 hitter, possibly. But again, he's only 24. I'd rather keep him in the minor leagues to get plus across the board, just for one more season at least. So, I mean, we could buy low and give him the nod, just give him the job and think he's ready, right? Or we could sign Zach Cozart again for another 1-year deal, just like Rutledge. But let's go over to outfield. I think Grichuk, if we were able to sign another outfield that's better than Grichuk, we can move Grichuk down to a DH type of role. Just because I think he made some pretty... How many errors did he make here? He made 8 errors in left field. How do you do that? So I think he needs to be a DH. So we definitely need another outfielder. Profar is an interesting option because he can play first, second, third, short. If we can move him over to second, he could take Rutledge's job. If he moves over to third, Bregman could take short. But then we would need to sign a second baseman. So all of this kind of revolves around Profar and Bregman, really, in all honesty. So let me know what you guys think on what we should do. We're keeping Eric Young Jr. around because of the speed. Taylor and Margot, they're pretty much in that center field role. If we end up signing a center fielder that's better than Taylor, we can move him down to the backup. We can move Margot down to AAA. But Taylor, 20 home runs, that's good. 236, not so good, but the power, we like that. We like that power. That is hard to do. Puig's got this right field on lockdown, so we don't really need to change that. We got a lot of good minor league baseball players down here in the farm, so we're not really looking for backup options as far as outfield goes. So, guys, without further ado, let's get straight into who is being offered into the free agencies. I keep pluralizing that, but it's not. There it is, boys. What should we do? Signing Arrieta would cost us a ton of money. The Yankees are offering him $132 for 5 years, over the course of 5 years. So basically that's $24 million a year. Look at Altuve, $279 million for 9 years. That's insane. Darvish a little bit cheaper. McCutchen a lot more cheaper. A lot cheaper. Pineda would be nice to have. He could push. He could be our number 2 and push Ross down to 3. Moustakas could play 3rd. We could push Bregman to short. Clippard, I'm not so sold on Clippard, even though the overall is really good. It's the age part, and signing old bullpen type guys never really works. Same thing with Glenn Perkins. JD, he's a free agent. We traded him over to the Padres in the roster control before we entered into this season. So he could be an option. The fielding not so good either for a right fielder, but the hitting, awesome. So he could be a designated hitter. K-Rod, that's a no-go. Look at Franklin Gutierrez's hitting stats there. He's a great fielder as well. He could be our center fielder. He could take the job right over Michael Taylor, and we're not really missing a beat. He'd probably actually hit more home runs than Taylor last year. 35 home runs. Guys, 35 for Franklin Gutierrez. 296. He's the reason they won the World Series, put simply. So we might need to consider Franklin Gutierrez as well. Even though he's 35, he's basically 29. I mean, look at how many seasons he missed. Injury, 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 injury. So, yeah, guys, we need to consider Franklin Gutierrez. Let's just go here because the list is starting to get slimmed down. Jeremy Hellickson could be a number 3 guy. Matt Moore could be a number 3 guy. I'm not so much interested in these guys down here because they're in their mid-30s as well. Matt Cain could get some veteran leadership there, but that's the same thing as Doug Fister was last year, so not too interested. And then at this point, start getting down into the low 70s. So it's mostly Darvish, Pineda, Hellickson, and Moore. Unless you guys want to go all in on Jake Arrieta. Relievers, not too much going on. Other than Cozart, Green, and the guys we're bringing back, we might want to consider trading for a relief pitcher during the winter meetings. So that's the relievers. Closer, we got that on lockdown. Catcher, McCann's got arbitration, but there's not much else going on here. We've already got our backup with Harper Ham. First base, we could move Esposito over to first or sign Mike Napoli to be our backup to Valbuena because he's a right-handed bat. The rest of these guys are all lefties. Pedro Alvarez, lefty. James Loney, lefty. Billy Butler, didn't really cut it. Michael Morse, not too much going on there anymore. He used to be a good power hitter, but not much going on. Now, second base. Here's the dealio. Second base, Altuve. We could break the bank for Altuve, but would it be worth it? I don't know. I don't really think so. Kinsler, 35 years old. We could bring him back for 2 seasons, possibly, maybe even 1 year. But it's going to cost a lot of money to do that. Rutledge, 28 years old. He's still pretty young. And after that, not much else going on there either. So Rutledge might be the next best thing unless we decide to move some guys around, shuffle Profar, that kind of deal. Eduardo Nunez could do us a solid second base, shortstop eligibility. A lot of things we could do, guys. A ton of things we could do. Moustakas, we can move Bregman to short. Here's a guy I was interested in when I was eyeing this stuff. Brett Lawrie. Hit 18 home runs, more than Rutledge. Had double the RBI production over Rutledge. 261, hit better than Rutledge. 32 doubles. 32 doubles, that's a lot. That's a ton. And he played third base for the White Sox last season. And check out his fielding. 2 errors. 2 errors for Brett Lawrie. So we got to consider Brett Lawrie. We can move him over to second base. It's his secondary position. So we like that. Shortstops, everyone is in their mid-30s, so everyone's pretty old. We could bring Zach Kozart back for yet again another season, just one more year to get Cicchini ready. Not much else going on there. Left field, not much going on here. Everybody's old, especially Jason Worth, 38 years old. Center field, Franklin Gutierrez. Could bring Curtis Granderson into the fold. 85 power against righties. We could do that. Right fielders, check this out. Joey Bats could be our designated hitter. Look at those power numbers right there. Fielding is a 40. He's definitely a designated hitter. Or maybe he's a backup first baseman. Maybe he is our first baseman, and Valbuena will play DH. So these are all options, guys. McCutchen we can move to center field. Maybe even move him to left and put Grichuk at DH. We got a lot of options. So, guys, let me know what you guys want to see happen. Leave a like if you like the way that the free agency is lining up for us to make big splashes and big moves. And if you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe. If you like it and you love it and you want more of it, subscribe to not miss a single episode of the Detroit Tigers rebuild. And hey, once we win the World Series, we're moving on to another team. Then we're going to rebuild them from scratch. So, guys, let me know your opinions, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Oh, wait, shoot, nope, can't do it yet. Check this out. Hot off the press, Brad Ausmus actually took a job with the Oakland Athletics, so we are free. We are gone from Brad Ausmus, and we ended up making a decision to hire Dave Hudgens. He's actually the hitting coach for the Houston Astros currently. We need a guy like him to have some grit, you know. We need a guy with some grit with this new feisty Tigers team. Gone are the days of the, you know, the white collar, professional. You know, we need some grit on this team, and I think Dave Hudgens can offer that. Third base coach was Dave Clark. So we ended up making some offers to a third base coach because Clark had negatives everywhere, and that's not good. That's not good. So, all right. So now we're done. So let me know what you guys think, and we'll go from there. So I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.